Give me a D and a G. It's the Dawg and Gus Show. It's the Dawg and Gus Show.
Hey, Dawg, your beard's looking flickin' great, my man.
Thanks, Gus. I've been using the Bush Beard Wash.
The what now?
At Bush Beard, they know that every man with a beard is a unique beardo. And that's why they offer a wide range of products to cater to every beard's needs. Whether you have a long and luscious mane or prefer to keep it short and sharp, their products will help you achieve that perfect look.
From the nourishing beard oil and balm to the refreshing beard wash, their products are made with all-natural local ingredients to keep that beard healthy, soft, and lustrous. The beard comb and brush are designed to detangle and shape your beard, making sure you always look your best.
At Bush Beard, they're dedicated to providing the best possible grooming experience for all the beardos out there. So why settle for an average beard when you can have a glorious, well-groomed one? Try Bush Beard products today and unleash the full potential of your beard.
Be sure to use Dawg and Gus 10 and get 10% off your order.
Bush Beard, the small town brand with the big old Canadian heart. Hey, coffee lovers, Dawg here to tell you about our favorite new brew, Green Army Coffee.
That's right, Dawg. Green Army Coffee isn't just delicious, it's coffee with a mission. They're veteran-owned, and every cup supports those who serve.
You can taste the dedication in every roast. Whether you're fueling up for the day or winding down, they've got the perfect blend for you.
And it's not just great coffee, it's a way to give back. Supporting Green Army Coffee means you're supporting our troops and their families.
So what are you waiting for? Grab a bag, sip smart, and support a great cause.
Check them out at www.greenarmycoffee.ca. Green Army Coffee, brewed for those who serve.
Welcome to the Dawg and Gus Show.
Now, nothing.
Now, nothing.
What's going on?
Not much. You?
Not much. What do we got going on today?
Well, you know, we got some of the guys from Saturn Sunrise on today. Very excited about chatting with these young men.
Yes. Andy and Patrick, how are you?
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
I'm doing great. Living a dream. Can't complain.
Yeah, I love
Thanks again for having
at
us.
least you made your bed, which is great.
Thank you for making your bed in the background.
Oh man, I had to like run around and fix that. I was like, oh crap, it's gonna be in the shot.
Unmake the bed.
Yeah, exactly. Better make the bed. So where did you guys all meet?
We met when we were. I was auditioning for a band called Fluid, and Pat had been kind of in that band for a little bit, and that's how we met. So we met at Record Runner, and we were just jamming that night, and I figured that band wasn't quite for me, and I've always wanted to start like my own project with a lot of the own originals that I've made throughout the years, and contacted Pat. We jokingly said I usurped him from that band, but you know what? Here we are. We've been jamming ever since, and we've been growing our band ever since that day. So that's about a year and a half ago, eh, Pat?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, we did the whole open mic circuit. Just Andy and I for a bit. Me on the cajon and doing some singing and some guitar stuff, and then eventually we brought in 2 members. September of last year, because we had booked a gig 3 weeks out of like we booked what was it, Rib Fest in Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, we need other people to play with us. So we found two guys, Zach and Pat, who were in a band, who were already in a band together that I subbed in like 10 years before as a drummer. And they came in, they learned 21 songs in like 3 weeks. And I think we killed it as our first official show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think maybe the pressure actually made you do better, eh? And sometimes that happens when you don't get to think about it as much.
Well, there's some extended
no
solos, some extended.
It's all good.
Yeah, ribs being chucked at you.
Yeah. Well,
I
not
wouldn't
the
complain,
ribs,
to
but
be
the bones,
honest.
right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I wouldn't be throwing ribs at you. I would eat the ribs and then throw the bones at you.
Yeah, there's a good point. Yeah, touche. You are a dog, so maybe you
I am
keep
a
the
dog.
bone.
Yes, I would. You know, if I'm throwing a bone at you, you know you sucked. Because dogs usually keep bones.
We're doing good.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Now, 21 songs. Is that all self-penned songs, like the songs that you guys have, or sorry, Brad?
Yeah, they were all original songs, and I mean, a lot of them, since it was a 3 hour set, like 2 45-minute sets. No, actually, it was 3 hours too, so it was 2 hour and a half sets. A lot of them were just extended solos too, extended little noodles. Became like a little bit of jam in some parts, but yeah, it was great, all original stuff. Some of them have made it onto this EP. Our EP is only 5 songs, but a lot of those were actually played at Rib Fest for the first time live.
How exciting was that to get that EP out?
Oh man,
so
I feel like it
exciting.
was like a long time coming. Absolutely. Like we recorded The Recluse in May, and then we kind of like worked a bit on the next songs that we were going to work on. So we worked on The Recluse, Waiting, Lie to Me, Rome, and The Feud, which then we ended up recording those at 2 different studios. We were trying to figure out which route we wanted to take. And finally everything kind of like blended together. Everything worked out. Sent everything out for mastering and came in just in time for Christmas holidays.
Nice.
I downloaded
Absolutely.
it today. I just downloaded it today. I was listening to it. I like Rome. I obviously like The Recluse, and I don't know, The Feud was kind of a cool track too.
Yeah,
Awesome. I
the feud's
appreciate
a
it.
fun one too, because like live we've been doing a lot of like call and response with the audience and just like getting people getting into it. And I mean, I'm always offering people a shot if they've got a good. We can share some woes at the bar if they've ever got a good feud that they want to share with me after the show. Haven't been taken up on it yet, but we'll see. So hopefully soon we can commiserate with somebody in the audience there. But our last show was fun. There was a couple of brothers there that were kind of feuding at each other, just jokingly, certain little bits and stuff. So that was good.
Was that show at the Cuff?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the shut the
Yeah.
cup. That's right.
That was a great show. Going on there with Holly Acres and with Suburban Drift.
Yeah,
That's
right.
funny that you say that, because Holly Acres we're going to get them on at some point. They're great. I've seen them live a couple times, but Suburban Drift is next week.
They're
Okay.
they're a good up and coming band. Absolutely, they
remember
got some good energy going on.
Yeah, we talked about that at SAW because
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine that I work with at the school who mentioned the band, and I confused it with you guys because I think there's a
Okay,
Patrick
yeah,
in that
it's true.
band too. So I'm like, Patrick, do you know Joe? This Patrick, and he's like,
I
no.
was like,
I said, are you a runner? He's like, no. So it was a very confusing talk that we had. He must have thought I was having a stroke or something because
it
it's like-
depends. If I'm running from someone, I might be running.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But Joe was like, yeah, you got to talk to these guys. They're great. And blah, blah. And he goes, this guy's that does this and that. And I just got the name in my head and I was like, okay. So, and the names they're very similar. I mean, Saturn Sunrise and Suburban Drift. So, I mean, kind of,
And you're getting old.
and I am getting old and forgetful. And thanks for the constant reminders.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, they're
What-
a great band. We've played a couple times with them now.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, absolutely. They got a cool vibe, cool sound.
Yeah.
It's great to see Holly Acres. It was my first time. I know I've been listening to them for a bit now, and yeah, I'm all into that old school pop punk stuff. So that was great.
Nice.
Yeah, they got some great messages in their songs as well.
What was your first experience with music, would you say?
Go for it, Andy.
I mean, for me, it was, first experiences music probably when elementary school, grade 5, 6, or whatever. But for me personally, 'cause I picked up a guitar when I was 12 or 11. I instantly quit. The lesson that I had was too hard. Didn't like the acoustic guitar I was on, and just like, oh man, this sucks. But then, like many other kids in that age, they want to like learn guitar, impress some chicks type of thing. That so
Yeah.
that's what happened. I started playing religiously after that, like a lot. So like my first into like music as in playing it was probably grade 7, 8, 12 years old type of thing, and been playing ever since.
Yeah,
Nice.
for me, it was again in my early teens. I grew up in a very musical family. My dad's always played guitar. I've always had music playing. So I always kind of like picked up the guitar and tried to play it when I was a kid. But it really came into play when in my early teens, when I again trying to impress chicks, trying to pick up some girls. It never worked because I'm way too freaking nerdy
No.
for that stuff growing up. But and then with my ADHD just tapping and everything, I kind of like naturally gravitated towards having to burn my energy into drums. And so that's kind of where I went off as my early teens. And then when I lived in Calgary for a bit, and like on my final paycheck when I moved back to Ottawa, like whatever amount it was, I was like, instead of like putting it aside and saving for rent, I was like, I'm buying myself a drum set. So I bought myself a drum set, set it up in my dad's living room. He's like, I don't mind if you set it up, but like we're playing together every day. I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean,
Exactly.
if
I'm like, I'm not going to
great-
argue that.
No, that's
Seriously.
It was great support too. Like, I mean, most people wouldn't be very keen on having the drum set in the living room, but I some parents are great.
Yeah, it's nice to hear that for
Absolutely.
sure.
Oh,
Now-
it's, having that support growing up is great.
Absolutely is. Are you gentlemen Christmas guys? You care for the season? Because we have a little bit of a debate going on here.
What's your debate before I answer?
I don't like Christmas.
I love it.
He loves it. Well, he's
Yes.
got a reason to love it too. He's got
Well, I've got young kids, but so
Yeah.
the magic's back a bit, right? But I also, I had, I didn't always have a love for Christmas, but I definitely, it's come back. How's that?
Well, for me, it's like
Yeah, that's
December
fine.
1st. December 1st, you got those Christmas songs going on in the house.
Nice.
Christmas trees coming up. And then I love like sitting back and watching the kids decorate the tree. And then like growing up, that was the thing. We would decorate together and they were like, oh, we want to do it. So I was like, all right, fine, you can do it. And then overnight when they went to bed, I'd come back down and like redo the entire thing. I was like, my OCD could not allow it to just be like here and there and everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
Ours
was
is
a
everywhere.
a little extra on my part. But yeah, no, absolutely. I like Christmas time.
Yeah, I'm down with it. It's nice celebrations. It's always fun to hang out with family. I mean, the Christmas songs do get kind of overplayed for sure, but yeah, sorry, it's my cat just really want to join in.
That's
The
very
cat loves Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah.
Loves
Cat
loves those
Christmas.
bangly things on
Why
the tree.
Why don't we do that? I'm going to do a little rapid fire just for fun, just because we are on the Christmas song run. So I'll ask Andy two, and then whatever one comes after that one, I'll go to you, Patrick. Does that work?
Let's try it.
Okay,
Sounds
so
good.
Andy, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas, or Jingle Bell Rock by Bobby Helms?
Ooh, Jingle Bell Rock.
Okay, so Patrick, Jingle Bell Rock, or It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year by Andy Williams?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna have to go with it's most wonderful time of the year. Absolutely.
Okay, It's the most Wonderful Time, or Run Run Rudolph by Chuck Berry, Andy?
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh,
I would have gone with Run Run Rudolph on that one for sure.
Yeah, fair enough. It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year, or Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by Frank Sinatra?
Most wonderful time of the year for sure.
Wow. Most Wonderful Time of the Year, or Melikaliki Maka by Dean Martin? Andy.
Look at that cat.
Or the cat can answer.
There's Bandit right
The
there.
cat can
Yeah.
have like, yeah, band it when you like. None of them. I don't know. I don't know that second one. I
Do you
feel
ever
like
watch, you ever watch
be up on
Christmas
my-
Vacation?
I feel like I have like back in the
Okay.
day when it was like on like interrupted by
Oh,
commercials.
fair, yeah.
I can't think of it.
Well,
off
it's
the
like
top.
the scene where he's
You know?
daydreaming about the girl he met in the lingerie store. Anyways, we'll go with okay. So it's the most wonderful time of the year. Please Come Home for Christmas by Bon Jovi. Patrick.
I honestly I don't think I've ever heard of "Please Come Home" by Bon Jovi, so I may have to listen to it, and then I'll send you a message after the fact. So for now, I guess we're gonna have to go with "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year."
Okay, only one or two more. The most wonderful time of year, or Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Bruce Springsteen. Andy.
Oh, you got to go with the boss there,
All
Bruce
right. The
Springsteen.
Boss, or Blue Christmas by Elvis. Patrick.
The Boss for sure.
Okay, and last one.
The boss lost.
Well,
the
we'll just
king,
do
eh?
that. We'll just do that. We'll go with that. We'll end on that. The boss wins. The boss.
the boss beats the king.
Boss
wins.
wins.
Yeah. Okay.
Boss beat the
Boss is the
king. There
boss
you
for a
go.
reason.
That's true.
Sorry, Elvis. Guys, what do you? We've already talked a little bit about it, but how do you guys feel about the music scene here in Ottawa? Give us your thoughts.
For me, it's it's a little hard to get into at first, but once you're in, you kind of got to get that. You got to keep that networking going. I find so it's one of those things that like you'll fit right in as long as you get you go see the shows, you go see the other bands play, you kind of get into that scene yourself. Because at the same time, you can't expect the scene to kind of support you without you supporting the scene, right?
Mhm.
And so I've noticed the more I've gone to shows, the more the support is there, and it works both ways, right? And so I have no problems doing it. I absolutely love going to see bands live, and like there's a bunch of bands that I've seen this year that I don't think I would have seen otherwise or heard of, and some of them are absolutely fantastic. One that's
Yeah, and I'd echo that. And it's a cool little scene
Yeah.
that's coming through because, like, you kind of see a lot of the same kinds of people at these shows, and like little by little, you get to know
Yeah.
a lot of these different people at these shows, and then like you go, oh, you're in that band, oh, you're in this, we gotta go check you guys out. So it's a cool community that I feel like it's growing.
Yeah.
And not that I have a point of reference because I've just kind of newer to the scene here. I used to live in other cities across Canada. I lived in Edmonton and Toronto. So I mean, I've been in Ottawa for a few years, but into the music scene specifically, it's cool to see how it's kind of growing, at least in my opinion. And there's some great talent and some great bands, and it's very welcoming. It's very friendly. You know, you talk to one band, they're always down to have a chat about something. And I mean, me personally, I'm always down to talk about guitars. And when I find somebody who's willing to talk about guitars, there's a good hour-long conversation right there.
And like, and the other thing is they've always a lot of these bands that have been in the scene a little bit longer than we have, which is not that long at all, to be honest. But they're always they've always been super welcoming and like giving some advice on like who to reach out to kind of break out of like out of town kind of thing. So right, like our goal for next year is basically try to get more out of town gigs. Right, we've applied to some festivals and things like that. We want to do a little mini tour along the 401 towards the GTA kind of thing. And so I've been hitting like brick walls on like trying to get a hold of venues and promoters out there and or other bands in general. So it's like they kind of give me little tips and tricks to reach out to some and reach out to some people and certain people to get a hold of, and been super helpful on that front. So
that's good to hear because you need support, and then you can get some from your own community. That's good because there's no, like, I'm sure there's some bands that aren't quite as open, but just certainly in Ottawa, we hear that a lot, you know?
Well, so, you got SRC, right? You know the boys from SRC.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah, Alex. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that was it was a great show. He came to see us play at the Cuff.
Mm-hmm.
Before he was double booked that day, so
yes,
he went to see us, and then he headed over to see the was it the Escape Society was playing on the Rainbow.
Yeah, the Rainbow.
Night too?
Yeah, unfortunately,
they put on a rad show. I haven't had a chance to see them, but I keep seeing their footage, and it's always crazy things happening at those shows.
Yeah, that was at the Rainbow. That was a great bill too. There was so much going on, and I just couldn't get out to any of it. I was a little disappointed because Alex is like, because I went and saw them during the day because they were at the studio just finishing up some tracks. It was cool to sit there and watch that happen because we don't really see that part when you guys are like in the studio, working on vocals, or if you're working on they did a lot of their stuff off the floor. So it's fun to see that part because we never get to experience that. So plus I brought him a hat, but he's like, no, come on out. So I hung out for like an hour and a half. Well, JP finished off some vocals and stuff. And then he's like, are you going to the shows tonight? And I said, I can't, dude. I just money has just been really tight this month. And I'm just like, I'd love to, but yeah. So he's kind of like, I'm going here and then I'm going here. So he's good. He's really good for that.
Well, I mean, we're going to be heading into the studio in the new year to record some other songs, probably some singles and things like that. So I'll let you know if you want to head over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
We typically, right now we're recording with, we're working with Eric Eggleston. Johnny Hall Productions as a producer there. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's been around for a while for sure. What song on the EP was the most difficult for you to write?
I think it was Rome because we've had so many different directions and so many different layers we could have taken it, and we've had kind of a vision for what we wanted to do with it. And then going into the studio, we kind of went a couple of different routes, and it was something we felt like. This song, whenever we've played it, either in open mics or live, it's like one of those songs where like a lot of people kind of stop what they're doing, stop talking, stop drinking, listen up for a little bit. So it's a nice one that catches their attention. And at least we've found when we've been playing it live. So we've, I think that one probably not necessarily posed most challenges, but just had a lot of opportunities and different things that we were thinking of and trying different things in the studio. We even brought in Eric brought out a Nashville tuned guitar that we threw in there, playing the same, so it doubles the same riff that the guitars do. And so a lot of cool and unique things happening in that one. So in my opinion, that one was probably the most challenging.
Yeah.
But it was fun once it recorded.
And to give you a little bit of insight on that one, like that whole breakdown part, originally that was supposed to be more of a drum solo, like a 16, 18, 20 bar drum solo. And going into the studio, kind of I went into there with an open mind to try to rework it a bit, and like coming out of it and treating it more as like a little breakdown rather than like a solo is I think was the right move on that one, because it hits nice and hard right there.
And that's what you call growth. If a drummer walks away from a drum solo to do a breakdown instead, that's growth.
I picked a tantrum.
You ain't taking any of my solos.
Yeah.
That's the lead singer saying, "Way to grow there,
Not
drummer.
kidding.
Yeah, I know.
Way to
Right?
grow."
No.
Oh.
Cueing the sappy rom-com music right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
do a little collage of things. It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
That's too funny. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
Well, so
that's-
you're going to go back in again. You're going to go back in and record more stuff. You just dropped an EP, so you guys are like busy.
Yeah, absolutely. One song that it's been kind of like, and he's got like a backlog of like 20 something songs, right? And then every now and then we'll work on a song together. We'll start writing it and we'll grow from there. Or sometimes we start writing a song and it kind of stops. And then, but like there's one that he's written, and we've been pretty like, it's been on the like on B side for a while, and like we want to bring it forward because we feel it's a song that's got a lot of potential. And he knows exactly where I'm going with this. It's Intrusive Thoughts. And so that one's got that one's got a lot of potential. So we want to go in and do that one. I don't know if you want to give a little bit of insight on that one, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a song title in itself, Intrusive Thoughts. It's a common thing that I think a lot of people feel, of letting their intrusive thoughts get the better of them in any situation. So it's a cool song. I really like the vibe of it. So hopefully we'll get that one recorded early on in 2025. Like we've been probably aiming to get in that first 3 months or so back into the studio and get that all wrapped up and do a little bit more songs, maybe not even a full EP, just maybe a few singles that we can kind of tinker it around with. There's a few of them out there that we think would complement nicely what we have so far. And but yeah, Intrusive Thoughts is definitely one I think would be fun to play with and just even just play it live too. So it's one that we've been tinkering around with in the jam studio here. Yeah, looking for that one. Hopefully we get that one going earlier rather than later.
So it's good. If you're on a roll, you might as well keep rolling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's gonna be our goal for the first quarter of the year kind of thing. We're gonna start booking some shows around starting in March time and on.
Oh, great.
Yeah, you want to stay away from the colder weather. If you're going to do a 401, if you're going to do a 401 thing, you don't want to be driving in the snow and the yeah. So it's a good time to like you said, just to get a few more songs in the can, and then say, okay, now let's start to figure out where we're going to go. Have you talked at all to did anybody drop Chris Gaines' name to you guys in Kingston?
Not Chris Gaines, no.
Okay, he's a guy. He does barn burner shows. They're called out of a couple of places in Kingston. I'll give you the info later. He'd be a good guy to hook up with for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No.
Good. Yeah. Good.
Hey, no problem.
Good Kingston
Appreciate
connection.
that.
Yes,
for sure.
seriously, he's good, and SRC knows him. I mean, there's a bunch of bands out of Ottawa that have played shows for Chris, and he's a good dude.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll give you that, and then we've got somebody else up Hamilton way too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll definitely send you that as well.
Yeah, we'll link you up with a few
Fantastic.
people.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly. Yeah. Where do you guys see yourself musically in about 5 years?
Ruling the world.
Ruling the world.
I mean, we want to continue growing what we're doing. I mean, ultimately, we want to be playing. We want to be doing some tours across the country, across the world. Everything in 5 years. I mean, that'd be nice. Going on some big festivals. I know it's lofty dreams. Everybody who's playing music has that type of want and will. But it's definitely something that we're pushing. We're really kind of making a strategic kind of plan and really trying to make check those boxes to get us in that right direction. So, I mean, that's in 5 years. We'd love to have been playing a lot of places around the world, releasing full-length albums, and it's something that we're really striving to. I think this year, especially 2024, we put a lot of movement forward. And 2025, I think is going to be a big push towards those types of goals. And it's a long road, but it's something that I know Pat and I really, really want to push the band we're really excited to
Yeah.
see what 2025 brings. So we'll see. What the 5 years is a long time, but I'd love to see that happen.
Absolutely, yeah.
It'll
So
go
it's going to
fast.
be exactly right, and so it's just setting up. It's setting our the foundation to head into that direction is what we're working on right now. So we got we've basically set we have our monthly meetings, our band meetings. We discuss our goals. We do our we set it up as like a business plan almost kind of thing, right?
Smart.
And then we we divvy up the tasks, and then we do the grind.
It's the way to do it. Have a plan and go to it. That's right.
Absolutely. Yep.
It's good. It's good that you divvy it all up so that everybody's got parts to do, as opposed to one person doing everything and then getting really jaded and going, guys, you're not really doing anything here to help.
Exactly.
And it's nice when you have all four of you are like on board. Four, right? There's four of you.
Yeah, there's four.
I did the math. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Pretty good.
You did good.
Quick
You did
math.
good.
Quick math.
Thank
bro.
you. Thank you so much.
It's good. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can take the rest of the night off if you want.
All right.
Do you have what would be the best piece of advice that you've received in your musical career so far?
That's a good question. Nothing. I don't have a great answer for you right off the top of my head, but that's a really good question.
One that I've written.
Pat, I'm
No,
gonna defer to you
I
on
was
it
thinking
for a
about the
second.
answer because, like I said, I've received a lot of great advice from different people in the community. So I was trying to think of the best one, and it's like one that I've received is no matter where you go, you're gonna get like once you get to a certain place, like you're gonna get hate, and it's like use that hate to fuel yourself. Like you're gonna get people who are naturally always going to be jealous and try to knock you down, right? Whether any amount of success you get, whether it's a little or a lot, and so take it and use it as fuel to propel yourself forward, kind of thing. So that was a great piece of advice I got.
It's a good one.
That's great. I'm going to take a more comical route. I'm going to go all the way back to one of my earlier guitar friends that I played with. When in doubt, stick in the box. Stick to the fence top box. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I don't know. It's there's a lot of different advices. Like a lot of good music teachers I've had. Like I was in jazz bands a lot, so like they've had some cool advice, especially with like kind of improv, like and how to approach a song and how to approach different types of music creating aspects. So I would probably call back to one of those ones, but I don't have a good one for you right now. That's a great question.
That's a good one.
Stay in the box.
Yep, stay in the box. Keep your stick on the ice. Stay frosty.
Stay in the box.
Stay in the box.
What's in the box?
So if you were to explain to somebody who's never heard your music in their life, how would you describe the sound of Saturn Sunrise?
I'd send them the link to no.
I describe it as indie rock, alternative rock. Draw a lot of influences from various different eras, even of music. I know, like in my guitaring, especially, like started off listening to like classic rock, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin style music. Then got really into like grunge '90s, and then lately more into like more alternative music, more modern type of stuff like Cage the Elephant, Black Keys type of thing. So it's like a medley of those things, and a lot of the songs in terms of like the musicality and the guitaring. And I mean, what's interesting about any band, really, it's kind of like it's a mishmash of all the bands and their different influences. So I know those are the types of things that come to mind when I'm hearing our songs and hearing the music that we're playing. And I know Pat's got his set of influences and his ways of describing it. But in 2 words, I would say, like, not 2 words, whatever, short, indie rock, alternative rock is what we're doing here.
I mean, it's about the same. I mean, that would be the same kind of like, if we're talking about genres, that's where I would kind of like throw us in to describe us. I mean, my influences like they go from Bad Religion, NoFX, to like pop punk, to like Blink-182, to Sum 41, to Weezer, and then you get into more of the like the harder rock kind of stuff. So like I've been listening to a lot of Foo Fighters, a lot of Rise Against the last few years. So like a lot of my influences, I can. It's funny because I hear it's one of those things. It's not intentional. I just got an ADD moment. There's like, ooh, shiny.
Squirrel.
So like, right? No. So like, I'll be listening to some of the songs of Rise Against or Foo Fighters or whatever, and then I'll be like, oh, I have a song where I do that kind of like pass or that kind of fill, and it's like, and sometimes I'm just like, I'll come up with like a pass or a fill or a beat. I'm like, oh, like I wonder, like sometimes I'm like, where did I come up with this, or what did I hear this before? And sometimes it's nowhere, and sometimes I'll like randomly hear like a beat or a rhythm that comes up from like from a song that I've been like listening to, and it's like subconsciously it's in there, and it just fits in perfectly in some of our stuff. So
That's cool. I mean, like you said, it's kind of a melange of different people's views on music, right? So it kind of comes out differently.
exactly, yeah.
It does.
Rome sounds like a Black Keys song. I think that I got that a little bit. That was
Right after you asked me if it was a cover.
Cool.
no. Well, I didn't ask. I asked because I thought
shots fired.
maybe they did a B-52's version of Rome, but they did it like Saturn Sunrise. Then I listened to the song, and obviously it wasn't a.
Not even close.
Yeah, but thanks for pointing that one out.
Yeah, I just thought I'd throw you under the bus.
It's fine. It's fine. What do you guys do in your free time?
I have 2 kids, or 3 actually, I guess. I guess. No, I got to
Lost one.
So I have my son's 14, my daughter's 15, and then I have a stepson who's 5.5. So we're pretty busy over here. But other than like music and dealing with the band stuff, I do a bunch of like woodworking on the side, and then right now I'm building like a drum riser for a client for one of my clients right now. So I do a bunch of like fun stuff like that.
Cool.
Andy?
Yeah, I play a lot of guitar, play a lot of music. I've been trying to learn a couple new instruments. That's kind of been taking my time right now. I've been trying to get into piano, some mandolin.
Piano,
so I've got like
mandolin,
guitars everywhere in
violin.
the house type of thing.
Nice.
Violin, yeah. I got ukulele too. So I'm just like
I'm
a serial
surprised you're not in front
collector
of
of
your wall
guitars
right
now
now,
at
to be
this point.
honest.
So, yeah, you know what? I didn't set up
Sounds
nice
good.
enough, but I can definitely show it to you guys in a bit. Actually, you know what? I'll show you the wall.
Yeah. Show us something pretty.
It's something that's pretty, you know?
Oh,
I'm here in the studio right now.
Oh, gotta put that.
So
Oh,
I'll
Les
make it all.
Paul. Oh, Les Paul in there. Couple of Gretsch.
So I got a little bit of a guitar tour here. Got to go down here at the bottom left. Paul Reed Smith, McCarty Hollow Body, Telecaster.
That is a
The
nice.
one-
This is a Duesenberg here.
That's
It's
the one
really
you thought it was a
guitar.
Les Paul.
It's made in Germany. I really like that one.
Yeah,
And then
totally. I
Fender
thought that was
Strat,
a Les Paul, but it's a Goosenberg.
another
Goosenberg.
PRS.
Do you have any more,
And
Pauls?
we got our
Duesenberg. I got that at a really cool spot in Peterborough, actually. The dude opened for the Beatles when the only time they came to Canada, which was crazy. And he gives you a signed picture of him playing back in like
It was the Beatles?
60s, 50s. When
Yeah.
was that?
Yeah,
I
it
don't know. When
would've
they
been
came
the
to
60s.
Montreal. And
Yeah,
it's so
60s
cool.
for sure.
They didn't get my joke though.
They didn't hear you,
Yeah.
thankfully.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you can have,
Probably,
I
yeah.
heard a giggle, and I was like, I need to know what happened here.
Oh,
But
he
I was
said,
like, I
do you
don't
have
want to
any
interrupt
more? Do
Andy.
you have any more Pauls?
Because you were talking about Les Paul, and I said, "Is there any
Les
more
Paul.
Pauls?"
And he died. And I was like, oh god. It was
See, it's funny.
It was funny.
No,
Yeah.
I enjoy. I'm all for that.
Totally.
I love bad jokes.
That's totally a dad joke. But, you know, like,
And we just lost Andy. And
yeah,
he's like,
fuck
dog.
you. Yeah. Those are my beautiful guitars you're fucking with, Leo. They're stunning. They're stunning, Paul.
No, it's,
Andy, they're stunning.
"That's a beautiful collection, man."
The
Andy-
Duesenberg's unreal. Like,
I,
that's beautiful.
What's the difference between a violin and a fiddle?
Oh,
I hear there's like not very much, but I don't know that real answer. I
Yeah.
was looking at it just when I was first getting them to make sure I didn't
That's
actually get
pretty
the
much
wrong
what
one.
it is. It's how you play it.
is that
It's
it?
just
Yeah,
really
because
how
we
you
asked
play.
somebody once. Remember, a long time ago.
Yeah.
I asked somebody because I was always curious. Because like it doesn't look any different when you watch, like when you're watching somebody playing it classical
Yeah.
music. It's like, okay, that's a fiddle. Oh, sorry, that's a violin. Then you see somebody in a country band playing. I was like, well, it doesn't look any different. So, yeah. Anyway, I was just kind of
I
throw
love
that in there
Andy's
for fun.
answer.
Okay.
He looked it up to make sure you didn't get the wrong one.
It's got a Stradivarius.
Well, when you're learning something
Yeah.
new, I mean,
Yeah,
you start from the
absolutely,
beginning.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
think many classical artists are going to call a Stradivarius a fiddle.
That's true.
Yeah, but anyway, it was just a fun question to throw at you.
Stradivarius?
Stradivarius.
Very good. Yeah.
Fiddle.
Stratafiddle.
Stratafiddle.
I believe it'd be pronounced.
Mandolin.
I think we got off the tracks a little
We
bit
did,
here.
but that's okay.
What do listeners ever take away different things from your songs than you intended? Got you again.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, our EP's just been released, so we haven't had too much feedback on that. But in a live scenario, we've had some people comment on some of the songs and like kind of what they thought about it. But I mean, for the most part, they've been kind of in line with what the songs are about. And some of the songs, like especially the ones on the EP, they're a little bit more straightforward. Like the feud, it's about a family feud type of thing, you know. So that's like, but I haven't had too many people take songs in a direction that I wasn't kind of intended. But I'm hopeful that we'll have more interpretations
I've
now that
had
it's going to be a little bit
people
more
come up to
widely
me
heard
or
now.
mention that they
EP's out.
thought Rome was about Rome until they see the spelling of it.
Yes.
Yeah, I was one of them at first. Absolutely.
Didn't you? That was you.
What about Rome?
What about Rome? It's in Italy. Go.
Oh,
It's like,
actually,
wait, people, that was you.
it's in Rome.
Rome. It's in Italy.
Rome, Italy.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Italy.
What's a fiddle?
It's a violin. Just a redneck violin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where'd you guys come up with the name Saturn Sunrise? Where'd that come about?
A boot. So again, we had our gig lined up. We didn't have an official name yet. Some of the names we're coming up with are just absolutely outrageous. We have like a group chat with the band and looking for a name, and some of the names are just absolutely ridiculous. And from the start, Saturn Sunrise. I had a friend who had a band several years ago, and it was called Saturn Sunrise. And I just kept bugging him about the name. I'm like, do you mind if I use a name? And eventually he was like, yeah, okay, go ahead. And so that's how we got Saturn Sunrise as a name. And I'll be forever appreciated for that one, because I don't think there's many names that we came up with that kind of like stuck and that just sounded as like smooth as Saturn Sunrise.
It is a smooth name.
Smooth.
Very smooth.
And then it has like the perfect like chant, Sasu.
Yeah, one of my buddies at our show started chanting that. Like people were asking who he was here to see, and he was like, he was telling everybody Saturn Sunrise, and then he's like, "No, it's my buddy Jeremy." He was like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm here to see Sasu." So it's a cool sounding word too.
People, yeah.
People have been chanting
Huge
Sasu,
crowds.
like our friends
Very-
have been chanting
very
Sasu
Lion
at these
King-ish.
shows. It's been great.
Sasu?
Zazu?
Yes, Sasu.
Why did you watch Lion King?
Yeah,
Are
Yeah.
you kidding me, man? I worked in group homes, dude.
That's
The
true.
Lion King
yeah.
was playing 24/7.
That's true.
I'm
So
gonna
that
put the
could-
picture
that's
of
a good-
Sasu
it's
on
actually-
my drum skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good merch opportunity for you guys too.
I'm always full of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sazu.
Sable.
Well,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's. I mean, like I like the reference, but
You're welcome.
yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
How many times have you seen Lion King?
Oh, man, I can't tell you how many times. I worked at that group home for 12 years. She watched it pretty much every day.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I saw the Lion King so many times that it was the VHS tape was faded.
Makes sense.
She had it on VHS. We had to switch to DVDs because she kept going through them like she was breaking them. Well, that wasn't when she was throwing them at us, but anyway.
Yeah, that was a different.
Yeah, DVDs hurt
That's
less.
another story.
Yeah,
Well, the DVDs fly better. Like you can throw them in.
They usually
They're
make
like frisbees, right?
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
Oh,
ever
yeah,
want to
for
throw
sure.
them.
Well, then my brother just put it all on a hard drive for me, and then she couldn't throw anything else anymore.
That's a good solution.
Yes.
Excellent work.
Throws- Thank you.
Throws the hard drive instead.
No, we had it locked up behind her television. She couldn't touch it. So
Was there anything in particular that inspired you when you were writing Waiting?
Jokingly, it's the waiting for the pizza man to come and knock on my door. That's how we started it off with as a joke. But it's more so it kind of built. It was like, I think when I came up with that riff and that kind of melody there, it was just more so like waiting at the door for somebody, and it's like not enough time for you to take on any other things you want to do. You're sitting there waiting for this person or this idea to come to you, So that's kind of where it came. But
Yeah, that's how we
initially the
introduced
joke
the
was
song.
we're just
So I
waiting
wrote
for the
this one
pizza
waiting
man.
for the pizza man.
Oh, that's good.
It is the
Yeah.
hardest part.
Of what?
Whatever
anything,
you had that
waiting.
reference.
Oh man,
Tom Petty.
waiting is the hardest part.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, why you keep punning?
I know.
I don't know. There's so many puns coming from you. I don't know.
Well, you know.
I can't keep up. Fuck.
No, you cannot.
What's your favorite song of all time and why?
Oh.
Oh god damn.
Ooh. That's a
Well,
good
I got
question.
Pun Master
I
over
got-
here. I
I
got to
got
keep
my
it kind of
answer.
Hard hitting
kind
got
of
my answer.
professional.
Making me
you
really
know?
Whatever. Professional. Shut up.
For me, honestly, it's gonna have to be "Sorrow" by Bad Religion.
Ooh.
Big reason for that one is because before hearing the Sorrow song or the music video on Much TV. Wow,
Much music.
Much music.
Music.
I was listening to a lot of rap, and I was going through a little rap phase, and then I heard that song, and I was like, oh, my mind was blown. And then I started doing deep dives into Bad Religion, and then I discovered punk and punk rock and Casualties and a bunch of cool bands.
Definitely, yeah.
That's kind of.
I'm going to go obscure with my answer. It's not necessarily my favorite song of all time, but in periods. And if I ever I'm stuck for a song that I want to show people that I think is really cool,
Wow.
it's a song called Gang of Thieves by the band State Radio.
How old?
If you haven't heard them, check them out. They're a little bit older, but it's cool. It's a really cool song. I was introduced to it about 10 years ago, so it's not like super, super old, but a buddy of mine saw them at some university campus. I think he was, and he told me about them. I'm like, okay, I'll check them out.
Nice. I just added
So
it.
Gang of
I'm just
Thieves
writing
by
it down.
State Radio.
Chadwick
It's a really cool
Stokes is in
song.
the song too, apparently. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, totally. I know Chad.
Oh, yeah, good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Come over for Christmas.
Gonna have him over for Christmas dinner. What?
Hey, he puts a tree topper.
He's a tall guy.
Oh.
Oh, we're losing it.
You're losing it.
I've never had
I'd
it.
like you to ask them a question.
I've never had it, so
This
I
week.
don't-
At some point.
would you stop pressuring me? I don't like it. What's your? Do you guys have a? I always like to ask this one because it's fun. I know, Pat, you've been talking about punk and punk rock and stuff. Is there something in your playlist or a Spotify, something that we kind of go, really, Pat, or really, Andy? Like really? Like that's something that would be like, okay, that's so out there.
Out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, here we go again.
That's two.
Yeah.
Yep. I asked the same thing
so
last week,
fucking-
and we got the same
So
response.
catchy. It's her shit's so catchy.
All right, fair. Andrew.
For me, it'd be probably like some like
I went through a
Pavarotti or
little phase
something
of
like
that
that.
too.
Been listening to some
almost
opera here and
I
there.
listen to Pavarotti a lot. He's
got a great
like you
voice.
said, amazing. This is like, oh my god.
Yeah. I use one of his songs. Well, one of the songs that he does
Yes.
typically as even like a soundcheck song.
Nice.
Just like people are like this rock band coming in, like it sings Paragloria a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a rock opera.
Yeah.
Everything. Is this a rock? Or is it-
That's,
what's going on here?
that's pretty good. I mean, the Pavarotti
Yeah, there you go.
is something I've.
That'd be fun to like be like, what?
I mean, Swifty.
seriously, it'd
Swifty
be
I
like
get, but like
everybody's like,
that would be cool. It would be a great
would-
way to come in and just fuck everybody up.
that would be a detention grabber
yeah.
for sure.
Do you give music lessons, Andy, or Patrick?
Yeah. I've taught a lot of my friends. I've got a group, like small bands in my past that I've called like Andy's Noobs. So like, and I didn't have enough people to jam with. I would like teach somebody who's willing and able. So I've taught a lot of people throughout my years. My best pupil is probably my girlfriend. She's new like camp counselor boards back when we first met, but we played a lot of guitar. We jam a lot, and throughout COVID, she learned a lot. So she's now shredding, and she's jamming. I mean, she jams with me and Pat often. So I do give lessons here and there, but more so to like friends or people who are interested or want to
On
learn.
my end,
but,
I teach drums.
nothing
through,
official.
Rockstar Music, which is it's a company that we go about, and we go to the students' home, and we'll teach them there. So we give them different options. Typically, you have a practice pad to start off, and then through the company, they can rent a drum set essentially.
Cool.
Very cool.
And then build them off from there. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a fun time. So.
Nice. Andy, what's out of the instruments that you have and that you've learned, which was the hardest to learn, or which one that kind of like just like really pissed you off trying to learn?
Right. I mean, I'm still learning a couple of these ones that I just got. Like the violin, I got maybe like 3-4 months ago. Some like Amazon special. That one's pissing me off right now because the strings don't stay in tune very well, and that's on me. I should have known that as a guitarist. You buy like poor quality thing, and you're gonna get. So that one's been very frustrating. I would say any instrument that I'm not good at is a frustrating one because whenever I start picking it up, I'm like, why don't I just play guitar? And it's like I quickly put it down and then go into guitar and just like stick to what I know type of thing. So it's like
Fair enough.
that's what I would say.
Do you find that would be beneficial? That it's beneficial that you guys learned how to play an instrument at a young age and you just sort of just learned quick. Like it would be less frustrating, like you just mentioned, because you can already play the guitar quite well. But like learning something new is easier when you're younger. Would you agree?
I think it depends. It depends on like what's nice about like learning an instrument now is I have a set of knowledge from like music that I know of that helps me kind of translate that. So like if I'm trying to learn the piano, like okay, I know how to build this chord because I know this theory and I know like what it should sound like. When you're a kid, you have a little bit, I guess, more time and drive, I guess, a little bit if you actually have the drive. So learning it when I was a kid was easier just because I had more time and I was more dedicated to just sticking to that. Because like when I was in high school, I was playing guitar maybe like 3-4 hours a day type of thing, you know? And so I think there is something to be said. It's easier to learn when you're younger, but there's pluses and minuses. It's really about dedication that you have in it, in my opinion.
Did nothing happen? You saw nothing? Is that your fidget?
My rock pet.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Pat needs to hold something and mess around with it, or else he speaks too much sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. That's why I asked if it was a fidget, because we have a lot of. I work in a school. I work in the school system, and we have a lot of kids that like they need to keep their hands busy, like you said, or it's going to be nonstop
chaos.
Yes,
or like Andy calls me organized chaos for a reason. It's like I'll stand up, just standing up, and I'll fall over and knock shit all over the place. Like walking behind the drums, it's like cymbals fall and I bang into everything. It's like, and it's not like I don't have enough room. I don't. It's like I don't know. I just
that's fair enough.
I spill shit everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's because you always have stuff around you. You gotta. Eventually, it's just gonna happen. Yeah.
I need like sippy cups.
Yeah. I got lots at home. You can borrow a couple. Where do you draw your inspiration for your lyrics?
For the lyrics, for me, the way I approach lyrics is often kind of like, what does the song make me feel? And then trying to kind of come up with a kind of either saying or a mantra that kind of like kind of ties to the sound of the music and the way it sounds within the song itself. So for me, it's a lot of that type of thing where it's like, okay, now I've got an idea and a concept. How can I build off that to either create a story, create an emotional response type of thing? And oftentimes I like to kind of build around characters. Like the recluse is one. Like that's kind of me thinking, what if I just threw it all away and live in the woods type of thing, you know? So it's like those are kind of the two main ways that I kind of draw inspiration.
It's like the complete opposite.
In terms of writing
from,
lyrics,
personal experience and like heartache and crap like that.
Crap
and so
like
it's
that.
Crap like that. Exactly. That's a quote right there.
Good lyrics come from pain.
There's your next single. Crap like that.
There you go. Yeah.
Do you guys?
So
go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I was going to say. That. So like coming into like writing with Andy, it's like where he comes from like a storytelling perspective. Was like I've never kind of like written a song like sort of like that. It's it brings a it's a new experience, and it's a lot of fun. Honestly, it's fun when we write songs and we have all these ideas. It's like writing a story, right? And then we're transferring that story into like into the melody and things like that. So it's been a lot of fun writing it like that.
It's all that opera.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Do you find it tough to take, like, you're telling stories in your songs, right? And some stories can be told in 2.5 minutes to 5 minutes. Do you find it hard to put it into that kind of time frame?
Not really, to be honest, because I feel like it's nice to give the listener a little bit of room to kind of like build their own ideas, and like we haven't made any kind of like rock opera epic type of thing that's like 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes type of thing just yet. So right now I find it's pretty nice within the confines of like the song structures that we have, and yeah, I haven't
Like
run
you
into
said,
like that
just
being an
yet.
issue just yet. But stay
Just
tuned.
yet,
We'll
yeah.
make a rock opera,
Because you know it's back there somewhere.
long epic song.
Well, I mean, Lie to Me almost went into that direction, right? Because Lie to Me
For sure.
Lie to Me had like so. Lie to Me ended before
Yeah,
the
true.
guitar solo at the end, and then we kind of wanted to kind of like bring the song up, crash it down, and then build up from there again and make it bigger. And so it almost went into that 6-7 minute length,
Nice.
but then we upped the tempo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's true. Very
but
true.
True.
that's the thing. The solo, there's no
Yeah,
words
'cause a lot
there,
of
so that makes
Guys
life
writing
easier.
songs and stuff. You had to
in
think
terms of
about
lyrics.
radio, right? Is this radio friendly? Because back in the day, 6 and 7 minute songs were not played.
No,
You know what I mean? They were just like, "Are you kidding me? We're not playing." Well, they would chop it off, and it's like the worst part. You're like, "Choo." Oh,
No,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
There's definitely those thoughts when we're writing songs,
Mhm.
but
yeah,
then we're like, we don't want to cut out a part of a song that we like, so we're like, oh, screw it, leave it in there, and then
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
That makes sense.
yeah. And then I mean to that point too, the song like "Lie to Me," that was like we were even debating making kind of like a radio edit
It'll
that's a
come.
little bit shorter, cuts out the guitar solo.
Yeah, we'll cut your
But
solo.
we haven't done
Andy.
that just
Yeah,
yet. So
man.
It doesn't need,
Yeah.
it doesn't need
Yeah,
to be
Andy.
there.
Not a chance.
but yeah.
I got to hear that Gutenberg.
Gutenberg.
What would you say are qualities of a good musician?
Collaboration's huge, I think. Someone who's able to collaborate, someone who's able to, I mean, as musicians, we all have a certain level of ego, right? We're artists, it comes with the territory kind of thing. But I think being the ability to keep your ego in check, to take criticism where it's due, and to be able to kind of like build off of that, right? And so, I mean, there's lots of times I'm playing drums and he's like, no, that's not the vibe I'm hearing for the song, or let's try something else. It's like, all right, let's go into a different direction, right? And so it's the same thing where it's like sometimes I have like a melody in my head. I'm like, oh, Andy, can you try this? And I'll just make random sounds. I'll be like, hey, I'll hear the melody and like, doo, ba, doo, boo, boo, doo. And then he'll try to mess around and figure out. That's a drummer's explaining a melody, right? And so I think Andy being able to kind of decipher my random noises is a fantastic quality. But collaboration it goes a long way, and it's whenever you're writing a song, it gets really personal, right? And so being able to kind of take criticism is important.
Yeah.
That's from me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll build on that too. Like proficiency in the instrument, obviously, is like that's something you need to be at a level, but openness as well. It's like that kind of like collaboration and openness, because when you're presenting music, sometimes it's coming from a fragile place, or it's like like Patrick said, there's a bit of ego. It's like, oh, I don't know about that part, and it's people can often kind of quickly dismiss an idea or a thought without even thinking much of it. But then the person that's receiving that information, oftentimes it's like, that's painful to hear, like, oh, you didn't like that part. Ah, shoot, that sucks. It's an interesting kind of dynamic when you're in that creative space with other people and other musicians making something new together, which is like not very common in like other types of arts. Like you don't see painters really collaborating with one another, whereas you see musicians, they're there's a bunch of different people, different thoughts, different experiences, and different skill levels, even sometimes, and different types of approaches to music. So it's an interesting dynamic that jams and bands
Totally.
and
It's all
rehearsals
subjective
all
too,
take.
right?
So
Like it's like you've got this in your
it's
head.
a cool
Pat's
vibe.
got this in his head, and then you guys got to come to and the other two gentlemen in the band too, right? It's like the four of you have to come to some kind of conclusion as to what this song is going to be about and how it's going to sound.
I think lack
And
of
we've all got different,
like
and we've
losing
all
your
got
ego
different-
too.
yeah. Exactly, right? And
Mhm.
we've all got different approaches on how we
Yeah, right.
do come up with parts for songs, right? Where like sometimes we'll come up with parts for songs by jamming, and then sometimes our bassist will take we'll do a recording of it. He'll take it home. He'll come back with some wicked bass lines, right? So everybody's got their own approach, their own ways of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's working together to get that
to
blend.
make it happen.
Exactly.
Well, you guys also have your you can do it live too, right? Like just okay, boys, let's try this one live and see the reaction we get from when we do it live. And then you'd be like, you know what, that part really didn't work live. Let's try and do this instead.
Well, for a while we used to
to
use avant-garde as like our testing or like proving grounds for our set lists for our because we could get a gig at avant-garde almost any time, right? So it's Alex is fantastic for that. And so we would go there and just kind of like test out songs and test out set lists. And like when we did the open mics, right? We did a lot of open mics where we tested how songs structures and things like that too.
Mhm.
And the audience interactions and how they kind of like receive the song. So you're right on that one. Absolutely.
Nice. Okay, that's good, Dawg.
All right, boys. Every show we've done, every time we've spoken to a guest, we always ask them to choose one decade. We've eliminated the 60s and 70s because everybody's fans of those two decades, and the 2000s we just don't talk about. So you got to choose between the 80s and the 90s. Go.
90s. Absolutely. But you know what?
Kidding. Just kidding.
90s for sure for me too.
You said 60s and 70s?
60s and 70s we eliminate because most people
Yeah.
love the 60s and 70s, right?
But you know what? There's some 50s that are really, really cool
Yes,
too.
agreed.
Agreed. In the era of like post-war as well, the parties that happened after that, like the 40s, like late 40s, 50s, absolutely.
Well, the rockabilly of the 50s and the
absolutely
Martini night. Oh yeah, they were partying. Bud. Might as well
drinking your Manhattans and your martinis.
That's right.
Yes,
absolutely.
martinis.
But if I'm looking at something that's more relatable to me, the 90s for sure.
Yeah.
Who's the best 90s band?
Ooh.
If you're asking me, we are talking about like Bad Religion for me all the way.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Yeah, I figured that was coming back. Oh,
Dropkick Murphys.
It was just a run by.
Yeah, she just cat just ran to Patrick's.
It's funny because I got two cats back here too.
You don't like that answer. You're like, nah. For me,
That's an easy answer, dude.
Probably
That's
Nirvana.
an easy answer.
Yeah,
I feel like they're like the definitive band of the
Absolutely.
90s in terms
This
of
guy.
the grunge. It's just like it's an easy answer, but
Dropkick Murphys were great.
I
Are
mean,
great.
Dropkick Murphys are
they're
amazing.
probably
They're
my
so much
favorites
fun.
up there.
Yeah.
90s band,
I
bro.
saw them.
90s.
I saw them
That's
live a
fine,
couple
dude.
times.
Like, I don't disagree that there's good bands in the 90s.
Yeah.
Sometime.
What about so Patrick? Since you said you're into hip hop at one point, who's the greatest '90s
fuck.
hip hop star?
Oh, we're talking about Notorious B.I.G.
Oh, nice, Biggie. Yeah, I mean, I love Biggie, but he wasn't my favorite in the '90s.
Yeah.
It's funny because like my daughter's all into hip hop, and then like she right now like she'll go through different phases, and like
Little
I remember walking into
Uzi,
her room. Oh God,
it's garbage.
absolutely. Yeah, it's mumble rap. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like,
How do you like compare it to like say Biggie telling a story or Nas telling a story or Tribe Called Quest and like just like this? I don't know. There was
What about that two-pack shaker guy?
Two-Pack Shaker? Yeah. He was he was very much a poet. I mean, he was like he was poetic because I mean I think when he went to jail for I think it was a year and a half or something like that, he wrote 4 albums or maybe 5. Like it just like that's all he did,
something like
right?
that,
So,
yeah.
But I mean, you're going to do that. You got time on your hands, right? But
You got the time, right?
I guess, yeah. As an artist, I mean, how do you release, like, get your art out, which you guys both need to do? If you had the time in a year and a half, you could probably do a lot, right? So
Yeah, so that's what we got to do. We got to go to jail and then write songs.
yeah. Just a quick little year and a half.
We're not
slaughter or something like that. I don't
We're
know.
not suggesting that whatsoever.
Oh, I am. Fuck it.
See you in a year and a half, boys.
Well, listen, gentlemen, we really
Just
appreciate
told us to
your
do it.
time. Yeah, Gus was in charge of who's Gus. I'll be like, I don't know who Gus is.
Oh,
But we really appreciate your time, guys. I know it's time is valuable, and we appreciate you joining for us for a little bit of time.
Absolutely. No, thanks for having us.
Yeah, look forward to seeing some of your live events in the new year. Nice.
Yeah, no, thanks for having
Just
us.
stay with us for a
I'll
minute.
send,
Yeah, we appreciate you.
I'll send you guys some tickets.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
We'd love that.
Forward to it. Can't
wait.
wait.
So what, sorry?
Tickets.
Dawg and Gus, Dawg and Gus, Dawg and Gus.